one, and if you have not guessed from the intro, I have seen the new movie Beauty and the Beast, and oh my god, I just have this like great appreciation for this movie. And I'm actually surprised how much I liked it. Like, I knew I was gonna like it because it's a Disney, and Disney just hires the best to do it, and you can't be disappointed in a Disney movie. But I wasn't sure how well it would be compared to the original one, because I find that you watch the classic one and you fall in love with the classic one. And so when you go see the remake ones, it's like, it's good, but you still prefer the classic one. And I think I actually prefer the live action version. I mean, you have the Jungle Book, and the Jungle Book was good, but compared to Beauty and the Beast, it was awesome. And it just, I was very nostalgic during this movie too, and I think that's also why I just have this like love for it too, is because when I was a freshman in high school, my school did Beauty and the Beast, and I still think deep down inside I should have been Belle. I should have been Belle, but I was a spoon in a townsperson. It was the best thing ever, but like very nostalgic about this, especially watching this, because back when I was a freshman in high school, the classic version came back out on the screen. But anyway, let's start talking about this movie. I really liked this. It tied up a lot of like the loose ends in Beauty and the Beast. Like, for example, what happened to Belle's mother. About the prince, they changed the lyrics from "In Be Our Guest, 10 years we've been rusting, needing so much more than dusting," to like "many years we've been rusting," which makes more sense because in the cartoon version, it's like their 21st birthday, the rose will stop singing, and so that would put the prince at 10 years old. So you're like, really? But then in the cartoon version, you see when he turns the witch away, he's an older man. And I really liked how the movie did this, though, is that they don't really show what the prince actually looks like until the very end. And part of me wonders if this also kind of has to do with his true self didn't come out till he met Belle. Like, it was just like all these like disguise, and he was becoming someone he wasn't when he was like very like full of himself and egocentric, until he met Belle, and that's when the true him started to come out. And that's when in the movie you see what he really looks like. There's no wig, no makeup. I thought that was cool. Be Our Guest was grand, just grand. Playing the loose how the villagers forgot them and how the witch made everybody forget them, because that's how I always wondered in that cartoon version. It's like, it's one thing you can forget a celebrity over time, but the ruler of your country you forget? I don't get that. How do you forget that? I wish I had that storybook. That storybook where they went inside and they looked, and that's how they found out about Belle's mother. Which I kind of felt bad, because here's the beast thinking he's gonna do some great thing and take her to Paris, and oh, we're in Paris, let's go do some great things. It's like, I just want to know how my mom died. It's like, well, that's just really depressing date. But oh my gosh, it was so good. Even the song the beast sang after he let Belle go made me cry. And I mean, I watched the musical version, and there's a song the Beast sings about that, like, because if I can't love her, and just, that also made me cry, but I actually think I like the movie version better. But also, there's a song in the musical called Home, and it's one of the most beautiful songs. Go look it up. It's so beautiful. And when Belle gets taken to her room, they're playing that song, and I was like, yes! The guy, I think, who actually wrote the original music and then the music for musical actually wrote the new song for this. So it kind of was cool, because it's not like they had a different writer, because every writer has their different writing styles. So the fact that they kept it with one writer really, I think, enhanced it. Yeah, I like how the witch interrupted during the ball. I thought that was kind of cool too. Like, I knew when her father got saved that was probably the Enchantress, so I thought that was cool. I think here you get more of a character kind of description, where I think the cartoon, because it's a cartoon, you can't go all character in depth in it. But here you could really get character in depth, and I really like that. The library, I just want the library. It was just like, you can't go wrong with Emma Watson. I just kind of realized that. But have you ever, like, I don't know, this is a legitimate question, like, and write in the comments below if you've ever thought this. Like, have you ever seen like a great movie, like a grand movie, and you're just like kind of jealous because you're not in it? Like, not like jealous like you actually had a chance to be in it, but like you're kind of just like, I want to be in this movie. I wish I can. Just all the characters just fit. And like I said, Disney is really good at casting. And just how they were able to cast all the characters to fit the roles was perfect. It's hard to tell even if it was acting. Like, you know, obviously it's acting, but It felt very lifelike, and I think also I was kind of confused though when they kept saying, "Oh, after the war, after the war." I don't have that big of a knowledge on like France's history, but the only war I can really think of is the Revolutionary War. But that wouldn't make sense because I think after the monarch guillotine, I think they moved away from a monarchy. I could be wrong. So the next war I could only think of were the Crusades, which would make sense because Belle's mother died from the bubonic plague. I know they just said the plague, but you can honestly just assume that it was the bubonic plague because I think it's the only plague in history that's known as a plague. And the doctor's mask. It was just great. The acting and like, there's sometimes you watch these movies and you're like, oh my gosh, this character's stupid. Why aren't you doing this? Or why don't you do that? Belle's just an intelligent character to begin with, but Disney kind of made sure there was no, like, plot holes where you're like, why'd you not do that? Why'd you not do this? So it was funny how she was planning to escape, went down to dinner, but then somehow forgot all about escaping. This, I want to see again. Normally I'm not the type of person who could go sit down and see a movie again, and especially not the type of person who could go sit down and see a movie again after I just saw it. But the fact I want to go see this again just says how good it is. It was just a grand old time. And I think of one thing that's so big about this movie is that it's a generation staple. Like, think of it. You have the 90s kids who grew up watching the cartoon. I mean, I was a late 90s kid, so I can't really be considered a 90s kid, but I grew up with Beauty and the Beast. And then you have the parents of the 90s kids who watched it with their kids, so they're going to want to see it. And then you have the nowadays kids who want to see it and their parents go with it. It's like just a generation staple. It's all part of the great circle of life. Just to give it a 5 out of 5, this review is very short, kind of gibberish, I apologize. Thank you for watching, bye!